We pray for better days.
This is another video in continuation of the spirit of my most recent video, which was detailing books that I had read, which allowed me, which helped me greatly on my financial journey. This one is less about finance, this is more about cryptocurrencies specifically, and the books that I've read, which have allowed me to become, to improve myself quite a lot as a crypto trader and learn as much as I can about it. So hopefully you'll find this video helpful. The last one was broadly speaking about finance. This one is a little more focused on crypto. So I'm just going to show you some of the books that I've read and recommend which ones I think are best for anybody who wants to learn more or who's just starting out. So we'll pick up the first book. I think the first thing, I mentioned this in my last video, I think the first thing you have to decide about, if you decide that you want to become a cryptocurrency enthusiast or learn a little bit more about it, there's two sort of broad areas that books cover. So they either cover the technology or they cover the trading. So you have to decide, do you want one or the other, or do you want a little bit of both? So I'll talk about both in this video. I'll talk about some books, first of all, which are specifically focused on the trading that I can recommend. Then after that, I'll talk about books which focus on the technology, and I'll show you a great book actually that I read quite recently, which is a really good place to start, short and simple book. But anyway, we'll come to that in just 2 minutes. So the first book I'm going to show you, an Altcoin Trader's Handbook by Nick Patel. I don't know if you can see that in the camera there. This book is amazing. This is the very first book I read on cryptocurrency. So essentially what it does is it teaches you how to analyze the coins, first from a technical viewpoint, so i.e. what's the price doing and how can I make money, and then secondly from a fundamental viewpoint, i.e. what are the basic properties of this coin. Is it a scam coin? Is it a coin that's got potential? It's got a hard working dedicated team behind it? Is it a coin that there's significant inflation behind it? Whenever the coin is released from each block, will the price go up or down based on that? There's lots of things that you have to consider. This guy, Nick Patel, is kind of a big shot in the cryptocurrency world. He's quite famous, he's got a lot of followers on Twitter. I follow him. A lot of his tips on coins are quite good, and they're usually a good place to start when I'm looking for a new position or a new coin. So that's why I like this book a lot. It's basically just a comprehensive understanding of how to analyze altcoins, so not Bitcoin, beg your pardon, but altcoins specifically, because those are the coins that tend to fluctuate in price more. Therefore, if you know what you're doing, there's more potential returns to be made. Amazing book. If you want to get started, this would be the best one, I think, to read personally, from a beginner's point of view. Then after that, what we got next? This is another great book I read on trading cryptocurrency, which is Cryptocurrency, a Trader's Handbook. It's not as good as Nick Patel's book. I think that Nick Patel's book goes into a lot more detail about little kind of tips and tricks and hacks that you can use to trade crypto. So logging on to block explorers so that you can analyze who's buying and selling, whether the big guys are buying and selling. This wasn't mentioned in this book. There's a lot of information in it, but it's stuff that isn't particularly, it's less unique to cryptocurrency and just general trading advice. I'm not going to say it wasn't useful. I learned a lot. I've got loads of post-its in it there about bits of interest and information, but it just wasn't quite to the same level as an Altcoin Trader's Handbook. That would be the one that I would recommend. Here's a book I'm reading at the minute, The Crypto Trader by Glen, Goodman. Another good book. It's Altcoin Trader's Handbook is more comprehensive. This is more entry level. And this guy has a slightly different way of trading than Nick Patel does. He's more risk averse. So he waits until the coin actually breaks out above a certain level before he buys, which you can do. I'm not going to say this guy hasn't been successful, but the biggest returns are to be made in analyzing coins that have good fundamentals and then buying them before they have a breakout. It's a slightly more risky way of doing it, but you can make more potential gains because the price of the coin that you're buying at will be smaller. So therefore, I'm going to recommend this one. There's other books that I've read on trading, cryptocurrency trading, but I think those are three of my favorite. So definitely think about picking up one of those books. should you decide to get into it. If you're more interested, beg pardon, before we get on to the technology, a lot of trading is psychology, so I think it's essential to read this book, Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. Amazing book. It basically just tells you how to detach yourself psychologically from your trading, so therefore your emotions won't determine what you do. Because you'd be surprised the number of stupid trades I've made because I've either made a presumption or I've done something based on fear or greed, and those are the two main things that lead you to mess up and do things wrong. And once I read this book, my trading got better overnight, literally overnight, so it was amazing. If you're more interested in the technology, this is the best, well, I wouldn't say the best book, but this is the simplest book that explains it the most simply. Cryptocurrencies by Dr. Julian Hosp. And that book is, it's just a little entry level. It's not very long. It's maybe only 100 pages. It's just a little entry level book which explains the technology behind it in quite simple terms, so there's not too much jargon or technical lingo. If you want a book which is a little more comprehensive, then you'll want this one. Cryptocurrency, The Future of Money by Paul Vigna and Michael J. Casey. So you can see here, it's quite a big book. And it basically just comprehensively explains the history of cryptocurrency, what the technology is and how it works, and what its possible future implications are going forwards effectively. So yeah, this is the best one I've read on the technology behind it. So anyway, short and sweet today, just 6 little books that I think that are quite useful and I can personally vouch for and recommend for anybody who's looking to get into this subject. If you do want to get into it, please pick one of them up. Please at least read a little bit about it before you buy any crypto, because when I didn't know anything at the start, you really don't know what you're doing. It's very hard to make money unless you're informed. Okay, well anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. See you later.